Yes, I'm very, very disappointed for that because there was good possibility to score very good points, or maybe to get on the podium. The car was going well. There was a good setup. A bit difficult with the soft tires, but I was competitive. And then I had a problem with the engine. I lost the power, and especially here when I was in the pit lane, it's gone off, and I lost the race. I'm very disappointed.
Bad luck, Giancarlo.
You're watching the battle between Irvine second and Coulthard third at the present moment, but enough of that because James has got some news.
Well, Murray, Ferrari and McLaren have been watching each other like cat and mouse, and now the Ferrari are playing the card first. They're going to bring Eddie Irvine in very shortly, and the DC's reacting. This is a complete turnaround from last year. David Coulthard and McLaren are going to try and pinch second place off Ferrari. If you think a year ago Michael Schumacher nicked the win from right underneath McLaren's noses on pit stop strategy. 8 seconds is about the target, maybe more around about 7.5 seconds. Could be very interesting. It'll be a straight fight between the two of them. They're both coming in together.
Yes, the McLaren boys are out as well, as you say, James, so clearly Ferrari will have about a half a second, 7/10 of a second head start, and Irvine taking a wide sweep into that pit lane. It's so easy to go off. It's so slippery. You can see Irvine snaking around, going past a pedestrian,
lunatic
and there they go. And Coulthard's got a nice straight run, and the McLaren mechanics, that's why they made Irvine take a tighter line into his garage. So they can't really short fuel the cars. They need enough fuel to get them to the end of the race. They're away together. This is going to be so close. It hasn't worked for McLaren. Irvine looked in his mirrors, says, thank you. Now you've got to pass me, DC.
Well, that is incredible. Of course, they're limited to 50 miles an hour in the pit lane. They join behind Jacques Villeneuve, who's in 12th position. Well, he's 10th now.
Of course, these two tripped over each other in Canada as well, but this is your chance, David, this first lap, especially as Eddie has some slower cars ahead of him. So maybe into the chicane into turn 6, if he can stay close enough in 5, he may have a chance to surprise Eddie, but Eddie seems to have good early grip.
Tokens now for authentic Coca-Cola glasses.
Lovers, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. Stand up and be counted. Don't be ashamed to cry. You gotta be bad. You gotta be bold. You gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard. You gotta be tough. You gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool. You gotta be calm. You gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day.
Panis ahead of Irvine and David Coulthard. Villeneuve is in 12th position, and Panis is 11th.
Now is the only chance David's going to get, but he's not close enough. And now I think Irvine will be up to speed again.
And past the BAR of Jacques Villeneuve, who yields politely to let them through, knowing what the situation. Here's a replay. They leave absolutely together. The Ferrari mechanics get out of the way. Eddie Irvine has got track position. He looks in his mirror and he says, you're still behind me, David Coulthard.
Yes, I think Villeneuve stopped right at the end of the pit lane. He has actually. He's got out of the car, because that's curious. So maybe I think they were probably expecting Zonta in, so they told him to... yes, so Zonta's in, so they've told Villeneuve to go straight through, and Villeneuve's got out of the car. You saw it just on the left-hand side of your picture, so Villeneuve has retired. I would think he was heading into the garage area, excuse me, with Zonta on an in-lap, and so they just told him to pass straight on through and get out of the way.
11 starts, 11 retirements. Another unhappy day for Jacques Villeneuve and BAR, who are very optimistic about having overcome their problems. He doesn't look too happy as he gets up into the pit lane, presumably to talk to Craig Pollock, the BAR boss, or Robert Singe, the BAR team manager, as David Coulthard there, now on lap 63 out of 77, continues to pursue Eddie Irvine, who's looking comfortable in that second place. And for what it's worth, they've closed up a bit on Mika Hakkinen, but the gap is still almost 30 seconds. Princeton is still 4th, Barrichello is still 5th. Damon Hill is pushing Barrichello very hard indeed in the club.
Oh, Irvine's gone wide. Sorry, Murray. Irvine running wide in turn 3. That's going to let Coulthard through without any question at all. So, I didn't see Coulthard pass. Where is he? He's down the road, look. Irvine braking too late, He's fastest man on the racetrack, a 1:21.0 on the last lap. Look, loses the rear a bit on downshift and runs around the grass.
Frentzen has got the gap down now. There he is in 4th position to 5.3 seconds, but he hasn't got enough laps left to get on the tail of Eddie Irvine. And if he did, I think that would be the widest Ferrari in the world, which would fill half the width of the Hungaroring circuit. And that's
Alesi, isn't it?
Alesi finally giving up in the Sauber and retiring from the Hungarian Grand Prix. Mika Häkkinen is now about to start his last lap. He's coming through to complete his 76th and 76th lap. Now, Mika Häkkinen has got 2.4 miles to go on his last lap in what has been a truly dominant, overwhelming victory, provided he just goes those last few hundreds of yards. He qualified in pole position commandingly, took the lead at the start. He has held it all the way in Hungary, and he's, as I said earlier, on his way to 10 World Championship points. It'll be a very relieved McLaren team, because not only is Häkkinen going to win, David Coulthard is going to be second, and that means to say that certainly as far as Hungary is concerned, they've overcome the reliability gremlins of one kind and another, which had affected them in several races this year. Eddie Irvine then is going to settle for 4 World Championship points and 3rd position. Down out of turn 11 in this 14-turn track, Mika Häkkinen comes. The race is in his pocket. Turn 13, the double right-hander into the start and finish straight, and the winner of the Hungarian Grand Prix, to the delight of thousands and thousands of Finnish spectators, is their hero, Mika Häkkinen, who cruises across the line in front of the joyous McLaren mechanics. That's Mika Salo. He's finishing 2 laps down.
Yes, and Coulthard crosses the line 9.7 seconds behind. Häkkinen had a very slow lap, as you saw. Good drive from Häkkinen, great drive from Häkkinen, and a great drive from Coulthard too. Irvine struggled. I thought Frentzen was solid as ever. Barrichello very strong with a one-stopper in 5th place. Damon Hill very much hanging on, and a well-earned 1 point for Damon.
As you see, Heinz-Harald Frentzen in the yellow Jordan finishing in 4th position. Irvine leads the Drivers' Championship from Mika Häkkinen after his 3rd place here in Hungary by 2 points. And Heinz-Harald Frentzen and David Coulthard are now tying for 3rd position, because David, as a result of finishing 2nd, has leapfrogged past Michael Schumacher, who may or may not be back for Ferrari at the Italian Grand Prix. I should think that after what has happened to Mika Salo here, he will be making every effort to be back. And Schumacher goes down to 5th position, and his brother Ralph is in 6th place.
So then Mika Häkkinen thrilling his army of Finnish fans who've taken over the Hungaroring all weekend. Excellent drive too from David Coulthard, and Eddie Irvine keeping his World Championship lead, but only just.
It's a great feeling. I'm happy. I'm happy now to be able to score maximum points, and you know, like I said, you know, the only problem is Eddie is still leading a championship, and I'm 2nd. So this victory today obviously is very positive. It gives me more confidence, for the team more confidence. But again, you know, a couple of weeks' time and we got the next Grand Prix and Eddie is still leading a championship, so we have to fight.
Ron Dennis, congratulations. Your first 1-2 since Barcelona, I believe. McLaren seem to be back on form.
It was a good weekend. Hard one, and plenty of pressure. Difficult to read the Ferrari strategy, but pretty much had everything covered. So the outcome was great. And I was particularly pleased for David to put Eddie under pressure, and you know, he made a mistake and paid the price. But that's motor racing.
Tell us about your battle with Irvine. Do you enjoy that?
Well, the best bit, of course, was when he ran wide. I'm sorry to smile so much at it, but you know, Eddie talks so much that when something like that happens, you can't help but be amused. So. No, it was a good battle. It was great. I hoped he would stop a lap early so I could gain the track advantage, but following each other down the pit lane was fun, seeing the two crews doing their pit. I think my guys got me on the ground a bit quicker, but there wasn't enough time to pick up any advantage over Eddie and run down to the first corner. And, you know, that's just had to push him and see what would happen.
I pushed like hell to get away, and I opened up a gap, you know, and I was hoping to get ahead of back markers and maybe put some people between us, but I just lost the rear, you know, and he got past me, but you know, still we got 4 points, and you know, maybe he had to overtake me. DC really would, you know, he would have pushed very hard to get past me. So 4 points in the hands better than 6 in the sand trap.
Damon, that's probably the toughest point you worked for a while.
Well, I haven't had that many, so it's quite a rare one. But I think it's good to get a point. It's a hard race physically, and so to do the whole race without getting a point is quite disillusioning. So I got something, which is great.
Must be quite pleased with the way you drove today, though. You were right on it.
I think this is, you know, give me a bit of hope that there's still something there that can be achieved. So not a bad result, really.
5 races to go. Irvine just a couple of points clear now. Coulthard level with Frentzen after scoring 6, and no change, of course, for either of those Schumachers. Double top for the Silver Arrows. 16 points compared to Ferrari's 4 means that gap has been reduced by 12 points. And Frentzen and Hill keep Jordan on the trail of the big 2. Right, let's have a word with Tony Jardine. Tony, all weekend you've been saying McLaren have got to deliver here, and they've done it in great style.
Pivotal race, and to come back after 3 really bad races by McLaren standards, it shows a steely resolve. It shows that they've really dug deep and done all their homework, massive amount of pit stop practice, etc., to produce a crushing victory for Mika Häkkinen. It really is unbelievable, especially on this circuit, which is not an engine circuit.
But on this circuit, the start is absolutely crucial, and Häkkinen was away and gone.
Häkkinen was away as soon as those lights went out. Downhill, very, very bumpy into the first apex. Just look at him getting the power down there. Brilliant. Fisichella, though, up into 3rd place. And Eddie Irvine having a very bad start on the inside and the dirty side of the track, but he gains momentum and he gains grip on the inside of the apex of turn 1 there. Going down to turn 2, dust kicked up there by the Jordan of Damon Hill as he runs a little bit wide. And the pack getting through remarkably without touching each other and getting all the way through there, which is quite a feat in itself. But look at the lead that Mika Häkkinen already had over Eddie Irvine, who kept that 2nd place after the start.
Shame David Coulthard didn't get a better start.
Yeah, he bogged down. Now, he was on the clean side of the track as well, and he was saying that's a better side to be than Irvine, who's in 2nd place, and he should have got some really good grip off the line, like Mika Häkkinen, his teammate.
You've worked in there, a lot of activity in the pits throughout this race, and Panis and Herbert had a nice little dice in there, didn't they?
Well, I've always said it's a very dangerous place to be, and you need eyes in the back of your helmet, you really do. And this was a battle between the French team and the British Stewart team here as they come in. And they were battling for that 14th place, in together, neighbours there in the pit lane. Now look at all the host of all those lines and wires and airlines, like the Napoleonic Wars it is in there. Herbert gets away first, a huge opposite lock slide, but he has to give best to Olivier Panis. Watch your toes, boys, as the cars run over you.
That was almost a little hors d'oeuvre, wasn't it, for your magic moment involving Irvine and Coulthard down there?
After a great pit stop by McLaren to get Coulthard up into 3rd place, he then exerted this tremendous pressure on Eddie Irvine, battling for the 2nd place, but they come in together for this crucial 2nd stop. In comes Irvine, right behind him, and going straight, of course, is Coulthard into his pit stop. Michael Nigline in charge of the McLaren boys from Australia, Nigel Stepney in charge of his boys. The World Championship battle spills over into the pit lane, and Irvine just nicks it, just comes out a nose ahead of David Coulthard. That was a fabulous display by the 2 teams of discipline, practice, etc. And you can see there that you know, Irvine kept the 2nd place, Coulthard in 3rd, but of course he was to pressure him later on in the race.
Yeah, that pressure paid off in the end. I can see tomorrow morning's paper saying that Eddie Irvine cracked under that pressure. Is that how you see it?
No, I don't see it. They had tyre problems all weekend. What we saw was Irvine falling back, and he fell back later into clutches. Now, as I've said, you know, one tiny, you know, couple of inches offline, and there it is, off you go, turn 5, and Taurus. We've also found later on that he's had problems with the sensor failing in his rear diff, which was giving him the rear end steer, put him offline, off he went. So he's got a very valid excuse, Jim.
Building up finally to a marvellous climax again, isn't it?
It is. Just 2 points in it there and 4 points in the World Constructors. Here it is. We've got it neck and neck, hopefully going down to the wire again.
Cheers, Tony. Thank you very much indeed. Well, now let's get an assessment from the pit lane, shall we, on the Hungarian Grand Prix, and it comes from James Allen.
So normal service resumed for McLaren. It was particularly gratifying to see them beat Ferrari at their own game today. And I'm talking about pit stop strategy and the pit stops themselves. McLaren were absolutely immaculate. They second-guessed everything Ferrari did, and their stops were fine and to the point. Very nice job. The only blot on the landscape from their point of view, I suppose, was where Coulthard and Irvine came in together, and they failed to nick second place off Irvine, but ultimately they got it anyway. Quick word about Rubens Barrichello. There's his steward there in Parc Ferme. Terrific effort from him to come through on a one-stopper to 5th place. And just look at this, a final word, this choice of soft tyres that Benetton and Jordan made. Look at that, the rear tyres here, completely worn down on Alex Wurtz's car. Almost as slicks, just like the old days.
Thank you, James. Here's your full rundown. Hakkinen on the podium in Hungary for the first time. Coulthard second, same as last year, with the fastest lap. Irvine third, his first ever points here. Frentzen fourth, another very accomplished drive. The one-stopping Barrichello fifth. Hill always scores at the Hungaroring. Wurtz seventh for Benetton, then Trulli in the Prost. Ralf Schumacher, after starting 16th in the Williams, finishing 9th. Then Panis, profiting from overtaking Herbert in the pits. Salo, another one-stopper. 12th, though, one to forget for him in the Ferrari. Zonta stopped 3 times and finished 13th for BAR. Then Bedoa's Minardi, De La Rosa in the Arrows, and Alesi, rumoured to be heading for Prost, followed by Genet. Well, Villeneuve didn't make it, but he did complete 60 laps. Fuel pressure finished Fisichella. Takagi's gearbox failed. Deniz spun, and Zanardi's Williams suffered a broken differential. A couple of weeks' time, it's the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa. The full ITV F1 service, qualifying live 11:30 on the Saturday. The race, the build-up starting at 12:15 on the Sunday, and the highlights round about the same time. Well, Hungary felt just like home for Mika Hakkinen. The McLarens have powered back in great style, and now at Spa, we look to Eddie Irvine for his response. Good night.
Begin! Push! Go faster! And off goes Zanardi. Zanardi in the Williams. And the winner of the Hungarian Grand Prix, to the delight of thousands and thousands of Finnish spectators, is Mika Hakkinen.
Could the nation's favourite barmaid be back? A very special week of Coronation Street.
You know, I used to live in a street that was shorter than this.
Can she prevent a Vicky and Steve reunion? Tune in every night at 10 for a star-studded extra Coronation Street, starting Monday on ITV.